Power
right?
BI.
Yes.
In Power BI, only one thing should be available to you right now or visible to you probably, that is AdventureWorks dataset.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Shani, this is what I'm
This is
looking at.
Shani.
Right?
Yes.
And when you see that all these files that are there, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 file and 1 zip folder. So total of 8 downloads are to be done.
Shall we download it now?
Yes, please download it now, and we will keep it in one single folder, call it AdventureWorks, and keep all the files in one single folder. The zip file that is there, not now, but later in future, we'll have to unzip and let it be in the same folder. Don't extract the files and keep it with other files. But yes, download all the files.
I have seen your video, Shani, on Zomato case study on Power BI. Yeah.
Okay. Somehow that case study has become very famous. A lot of people like Zomato, it seems. So that's like a small glimpse of what Power BI does. It doesn't have too many, the main features of Power BI. It's just drag, drop, create a chart. All right, everybody has the data.
Yes.
Shani, I don't have. Just a minute.
Sure. Let me know if there is anyone present who does not see Power BI. That's number one concern, because then I make sure that I give them access.
We downloaded it.
So Ashish, Prasad, Sunil, Abhishek, Ankita, Arshad, Sandeep, Deepika, Dheeraj, Dhiren, Faisal, Girish, Govind, Gunjan, Karan, Imran, Chitish, Lalit, Vikar, Mohit, Naveen, Neil, Pratibha. I think Radha Krishnan, are you new?
Yeah, he's.
He's new. I would not have him in Power BI. So if you could share, it's already shared in the email. I can.
No, I mean, I'm just gonna share email IDs, 3-4 email IDs.
Okay,
Which
if
are
you could, then I can give him access.
Shall I share it right away?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Shani, they have 8 files, right?
Yes, total of 8 files. Or can I do one thing? Is he in the WhatsApp group, Vinay?
RK, have you added 4 guys? RK, can you hear me? In case you're not talking on mute. RK, let me call him on the mobile.
Okay, because he's the only new name I see. Rest everybody I know over here. So what I can do is I can send you on WhatsApp and you can put it on the WhatsApp group as well. The process will be faster then.
Yeah, I'll email ID on the WhatsApp then.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start. So first and foremost thing, if anybody can help me to understand what is Power BI? What is Power BI? What is W? What are we talking about for the next 40 days now?
More advanced version of Excel charts.
More
it-
Power
advanced version of
BI
Excel
is
chart.
It's a
as far
data
as my knowledge is
visualization
concerned,
tool.
Power BI is a data representation tool which help
Okay.
us to represent the data in a specific and very good manner so that the person who is watching and to whom we are representing the data can easily understand what the data is trying to send, what we are trying to make him understand, as far as my knowledge.
Okay.
Shani, is it business intelligence tool, what we call it?
Yes, it is. It falls under the category of BI tools, business intelligence tool. And what is the role of business intelligence tool? Long story short, it helps us to create very dynamic and powerful dashboards, right? We did dashboarding in Excel as well, and we did make them dynamic by introduction of what did we introduce? Slicers. We had slicers by which it became dynamic, and we could have created some. We could get some information out of it. So when you talk about dashboards in Excel, I did not focus too much on the outcome, but mainly when you are going to work in a profile where you're using a Power BI or a tool like Tableau, the business is going to focus on only one thing, that whatever you are creating, the dashboard that you are creating, can it give me some actionable items or not? So it is just not a platform where you can make some fancy, pretty looking charts and they interact with each other. But through the interaction of these charts, we need to generate some insights. And insights have to be such that I can tell to my team that, okay, 1, 2, 3, these are the actionable items from it. For example, the case study we're going to work with, it's kind of a retail store case study. I know you guys are from finance background. Retail I picked for 2 reasons. This case study has all the elements that I require to teach you end-to-end Power BI. So I typically have used this data only for any other batch at Genpact also, so that we start building and try to do end-to-end project. So it's not that you're working on some data for something, some data for something. So end-to-end, you should be able to understand, okay, session 1, what I did, how is it affecting me now? Session 4, what I missed, how is it affecting me now? So end-to-end project we will be taking. And retail is something which is easier to understand, I feel. So to get an actionable item would be relatively easier. Okay, so the main thing, Power BI or Tableau are BI tools, business intelligence tool, and the main component or the main advantage that we have over here is we take it from the raw data, we do the development when we call the dashboarding, then we bring out the story from it, and then we share it with others. So we publish, we share with the others and give some actionable items to them. So that is what we are going to do over here. Now, first and foremost, before we dive into Power BI and start creating dashboards and charts, what do you think should be the step number 1 as a consultant that we need to do?
Clean the data to which we are creating.
Understand the data. Yeah.
Understand the data.
Understand.
Even before you clean the data, to clean the data also you need an understanding of the data, right? So that's what we are going to do over here today. We are going to first of all not clean, but understand the data that we have. So like I told you, we are having all these files are given to you. Our end goal is this one, just to show you. This is the dashboard we will be creating. We will be having certain navigations on these dashboards as well. Like this is one page, then we'll move on, create this page, then we'll move on, create this page. So this is going to be the end goal of this entire training, and then getting some actionable item by interacting with each and every graph over here. So over here, let me first explain you the data that we have. So like I said, it's a retail data. So in a very typical retail data, you will always get few tables, like sales table will always be there. Customer table will always be there. Product table will always be there. Now in here, we have number 1, the customer data. What do you look at in the customer data? And now that you've done SQL and relationship database management, you know why we are keeping multiple tables and not merging all the information in one table, correct?
Yes, Ishani.
Can anybody tell you why?
Okay.
Because all your RDBMS concepts, especially relational database management, ER diagrams that you must have learned under Prateek are going to be a very, very important component of Power BI. So that's the reason I'm asking, why do you think we want multiple tables rather than one single table?
Because it avoids data redundancy. It provide it ensures we have integrity among the data tables. Also,
Absolutely
the
correct.
normalization concept
Yes.
we can apply for.
Right. For the normalization of the table, redundancy should not be there. Integrity of the data and updation of the data all get affected if you're not maintaining the normalization rules of the tables. So following those normalization rules, these tables are created. So you will see in customer table, what we have is something called a customer key, which is a column which helps me to uniquely identify the record. So one customer has a customer key. This is a unique column. Hence, we can call it also what of the table?
Is it primary key?
It's a
Primary.
primary key.
Primary key.
Absolutely correct. So this works like my primary key. So in the customer table, my primary key is a customer key. And what do I have is a prefix, first name, last name, date of birth, marital status, what's the gender, email address, income, how many kids, education level, professional level, homeowners or not. Any question around the data set that we have over here? So it's basically the journal profile of the customer based on education, marital status, occupation, male, female, age, and income. All good?
Yes,
Yes, Ishan.
Yes, Ishani.
The date of birth, like data is not not in a correct
Yes,
format. Right?
yes, but we are not going to touch it in CSV files. This is a CSV file. I'm not going to do any modification here. I'll tell you in Power BI how to deal with this issue.
Okay.
So this is MMDD. My system is DDMM. Hence, half the data is like say 2.6, for example, will fit in all the systems, right? But 215 won't fit in MMDD, DDMM both. So some of them is being converted into text. Some of it is showing as a date, but we'll read it in Power BI so that we read all of them as correct answers, correct dates. All right, next is, these are all CSV files, by the way. Next, we are going to concentrate on category, product category. So a product is being divided into, there is a category. Under a category, there will be subcategories. Under the subcategories are the product IDs, right? For example, there is a category called bikes. Now, under bikes, there will be multiple subcategories. And let's say there's something called a mountain bike. Under mountain bike also, you may have various colors, various sizes of the mountain bike, right? So that also kind of bifurcates. So to understand the hierarchy, there is a category. Under the category, there is something called a subcategory. And under the subcategory, there is a product ID. So this one is completely unique, right? Product ID will be unique and it may belong to a category, may have many product IDs, a subcategory may have many product IDs, right? So 4 main categories is businesses looking at, that is bikes, components, clothing and accessories. And again over here, I have got the product category key, which is going to work like a primary key for this table. So till now you've seen 2 tables, customer and product. And in both the cases, there are primary keys.
So Ishani, any specific reason why this all the files are in CSV format? Like before working in the Power BI, like we also always need to convert each and every file in CSV.
No. You may have file in Excel, you may have a CSV file, but CSV is mostly, see, when you are linked to any of the softwares or when you're downloading data from any of the servers and all, typically the format that it gets downloaded as a CSV format. Plus Excel has a disadvantage of only having 10 lakh rows of data. So a lot of time in this, data world, you will see now people have started using the CSV files because it's easier to capture more amount of data. And CSV file format is one that is, you are able to connect to all the data sources, all the different kind of softwares, right? But not necessarily it has to be a CSV. So now next we move on to the subcategories. Over here in the subcategories, we have a lot of subcategories. So near about, we have 37 subcategories with us. So in subcategories, you will see there is mountain bike, road bike, touring bike, and in front of it, the category name is given. So there are Under the first category, which was bike, there are 3 subcategories. Under the categories, which is, I think, number 2 was, I forgot what it is. I think accessories. Then
Components.
Components is the second one. Third one is accessories or clothing, sorry. So under clothing, these are there, and under the accessories, these are the subcategories. So the data and the hierarchy is clear, right?
Yes.
Yes, all right. So subcategory key is a primary key and the category key is called
Foreign key.
Foreign key.
foreign key. See, I'm making you do revision for your test also. So
That's
primary
good.
key and this is your foreign key. So similar concepts that you have been seeing in SQL are going to be here. Now comes the product. And obviously these are going to be more. So there is something called product key, and a product is a part of a particular subcategory in a category, right? So over here we have about 293 unique products that this company is selling. This is the subcategory key. There's a SKU, there's a name, model, what color, size, and so and so forth, the cost and the price. All this information is given to us. And again, product key is a primary key. Product subcategory key is a foreign key in this table. And what is the point of having foreign keys?
To combine
have-
or create a new table as per the requirement.
To
To fetch the data from other table using a foreign key.
Additional information.
Like it is used for joins and all.
Absolutely, it is used for joins. Basically, I'm sure you guys have merged the tables through the joins, different type of joins. So basically, when you're joining two tables, or like someone said, bringing information from one table to another table, we need to have a common column between the two tables. So foreign key acts like a common column. So primary key of one table is a foreign key of another is acting like a foreign key in the other table, and those are the two common columns that we are going to use. All right, now let's see. This is the sales folder that I've sent you. Sales of 3 years, 15, 16, and 17 is given in 3 different files. I'll open one file and explain. Rest is just the change in the dates. So the first thing is the order date. So this is the sales data. So we are able to understand when the sales was done, what was the order ID. Order ID is something like a bill number or invoice number. Then we also need to understand what is a product key that was sold, to whom it was sold, and what is the territory key. Territory key is basically coming from the territory data that we'll see. How much is the item, line item, how many line items were there in this order, and what is the order quantity for it. This data is also clear.
Ishani, what is territory key?
Territory key is basically, there's another table called territory table.
Okay, so it's
So that helps us to understand, like if I say territory key 1, it means we are looking at the northwest region of United States under the continent of North America.
okay.
So it is helping us to understand geographically where the product was sold.
All right.
All right. Now, which is a primary key in this data set?
Order number.
Order date. Order number.
Product key.
Order number.
Product
key.
Product key is
Product key will be the primary key.
Product key cannot be the
No,
key
customer
because
key.
one product can be
Customer.
sold. See,
Customer key.
customer key. So are we saying the customer is going to buy from us only once? The customer can't buy and come back and buy.
It's
Order
scientific order
Order
number.
number. Order number.
Order number.
Yeah.
Let's
Order
see.
number can be unique.
Let's see.
We covered everything. I think order date is only the primary key now.
No, but if you say order key, then there's a problem, right? Order date, you mean you're selling only once in a day? No duplicates found. This is for, hold on. Not true. I'll prove you wrong. 1 second. This is 2016. So unfortunately, 2015. So I picked a data set in which it is only person is buying is Okay, see over here. Now line items, as soon as line items become more, for example, this is the line item. Do you see a repetition anywhere yet? No.
No.
Hold on. Much effort to prove that order number is not unique. See? So many duplicates you got. 13,240 duplicate values are there. So it's not a unique key. And why it is not a unique key, I'll explain it to you. For example, when you go and buy something at any of the retail stores, so they have something called a bill number or invoice number. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Right? In that you might have got 4 items. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 items. For all of them, the bill number is same.
Yes.
Right? But the product ID would be different, or the product key would be different.
Yes.
One is a t-shirt, one is, let's say, a belt, one is a shirt, one is a trouser. So all of them have different products. They have different, the order for the same order number, the customer number would be the same, the territory would be the same, but the quantity can vary and the product key can vary. So that's the reason I was saying order number is not unique. So is there any unique value in this table?
Is that product key?
Product
I
key.
Product
don't
key
think
is
so.
also not.
I don't think so.
Customer
There is
key.
no, because if you say product key, it means you're selling one product only once. That's not a possibility. If you say customer key, you are assuming the customer is going to only buy from your business one. Even that is not a correct thing.
So we will
But the
go to
combination
composite.
can be a unique one. No?
So is that order date?
We have to create a unique
No.
value in that.
So
we have to
basically,
create a
there is
composite.
no unique value in this. FYI.
That's why we have to create one.
We are
We don't
keep
have to
guessing
create
which one.
So we don't have to create one. But we don't have to create one, okay? But what I wanted to understand is that you should have a very, see, when you're working with Power BI, there is a concept called modeling in this case, in which you connect multiple tables together. So over here, the first and foremost thing that I see it helps me to do is understand my data well, number one. Number two, understand we divide our tables into two things called fact tables and the data tables. So fact tables are the one which have primary keys in it. And the data tables are one where there are only foreign keys are there. They don't have any primary keys. Okay. So this one is one of those keys. This data set does not have any primary key in it.
Okay.
All right. Not necessary all the tables that you will get will have a primary key. Okay, what is left? So one last table is left, that is called returns over here. And what is returns table? Like the name suggests, it helps us to understand on which date, in which territory, which product was returned, what was the quantity of return. Simple.
Right.
Right? Which is the primary key in this case?
There's
No problem.
primary key.
There is no primary key. Correct answer. There is no primary key again. Because on the same day, multiple people can return. In the same territory, multiple people can return. Same product, multiple people can return. So none of the keys are primary keys again. Okay, this is again one of our data tables. This is not a fact table anymore. All clear?
Yes.
Just one question
Yes.
on this table.
Yes.
Can you please open this once again?
Yes, Gunjan, how do you know everything I want to teach? There has to be something that I know and you don't know. How is the question?
Are we heading towards schemas, snowflake schemas, and
Yes, star and snowflake concept. It will come in I think by next week we will hit that place. But yes, star and snowflake concept is
Actually, Ishani, when you told that the fact and dimension words, then I got the
that
concept.
cleared
of
it.
what- Yes.
That's not fair. I have a complaint against Genpact. All right. To explain again that you want to understand why is there no unique value, correct? Somebody had asked me to explain again.
Ishani, I have a question on
Yes.
date data type. What I can see, there are two different type of formats available in date data type.
Correct.
How would
So
that
like
be
I said, in right now you're looking at it, but in Power BI that won't be the case. We are going to modify it. And the reason you are able to see two different data types over here, my system is DDMM, this date format is MMDD.
Okay.
So wherever the date like 3 and 8, which falls under 30 days and 12 months, all of them are converting itself into the dates. But any time where my system is expecting a month and we have a date like 18, 21, 22, over here, my system is not expecting anything beyond 12 because I have DDMMYY. Over there, it's converting it into a text. We don't have to touch it over here at all.
Okay.
We'll modify in Power BI. I'll show you how. It's very simple.
Fine.
Okay. Any other questions? That's it. All right, let's get started. So we understood the business, we understood the data, we understood what are the different variety. These are all CSV files, by the way. And make sure your AW sales, you keep it under one folder. There is something that we will do probably next week, but I will need everything under one folder. All right, let's get started. Let's open Power BI. As soon as you open Power BI desktop, I saw Shweta yesterday, she had signed in, but others you don't need to sign in yet. So it's fine if you have not signed in. All right, when you look at the Power BI data over here, you will see that on the left side, I have got this get data, recent sources, any files that I've worked on, those will be kept over here. In the middle, my view is a little different. In the middle, my view has certain training videos and all those things, which is like Power BI tutorials that they have given to us. If you want to, go through it, short, sweet videos over here. And most of you who have not signed in would have something called collaborate in the middle. Do you see the word? Do you see the panel for collaboration?
Yes, yes, I have.
Yes.
Collaborate
You don't
and
have
share.
to do anything. You don't have to do anything in it. Okay. So you really don't have to collaborate. Collaboration and all happens when you want to go publish, share your visualization. First, we'll build the visualization, then we'll get into sharing the visualization. So first and foremost step we are going to do is get data, because all these BI tools, they are not the softwares to store the data. So first and foremost thing, whether you take up Tableau or you take up Power BI, would be to have a connection with the data source so that I can get the data into the software and then you can start working with it. Right? Now, a lot of data types are there for Power BI that can be accepted. There is text files, which are the famous ones, Excel files, mostly use are text files. Then we have JSON files, we can pick up folders, we can pick up PDFs, you can connect your Access server, SQL servers. If there are any online services like Salesforce, you can connect to that, Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics. So all these places you can have a connection. Right? Can anybody give me an understanding in your team? What are the various sources of data that you get?
MS Access.
MS?
Access.
Access and
Access databases. Okay, so Access database over here. All right. Anything else? That's it. Access only basically.
Access and Excel. We only work on the
Excel and Access. Okay. So again, I will try to get a database. I have a data set, but it's like a 5-line data set on Access. I'll try to take one from Prateek, an Access database, to illustrate how to do this connection also. Okay.
Actually, Shani, we do also work with CSV, text, and SharePoint as well.
You work on SharePoint as well. Okay. So SharePoint folders, but I would not be able to show it probably because I need logins and all. So we'll figure out how to show it, or probably even then you can help me in the showing the connection of SharePoint. But definitely Access, I can show it to you. Excel and CSV is like typically things that definitely will be demonstrated.
And we can also see my SQL database.
Yes, for that, I will need Prateek's help. Like I work on Access, I know the SQL queries, and I've worked on Access, but I've not worked on MySQL. I know there's a small change in the way of writing a query, but I'm more comfortable with Access databases. But anyways, I will do that. So MySQL is one we want to look at.
But Deshani,
Access and SharePoint.
sorry to interrupt you, but all the sources we have to pull the data, the final result after exporting or importing the data from there, the final result on this Power BI will be the same, right? I mean, if we are importing anything from Excel, either from either from the PDF, as soon as it will be import onto the Power BI, the display on Power BI of the data.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same, but depends. Like if you pull a JSON file, JSON is JavaScripting file. So the way they are kept, like for example, a simple example, like a CSV file is a comma separated value file. It's a text file. But most of the software, including Excel, understands that wherever there is a comma means the next column, and it converts it into a structured data, right? For JSON files, it's a semicolon, I think, or a colon that helps us. I think it's a semicolon that helps us to understand, okay, this is the next record. But there are small nuisances that might come depending on what database you're trying to select.
So the Power BI will understand that thing automatically, or we need to make them amendments?
Few amendments would be required. And if you're connecting to, for example, your SQL servers, then you need to connect with the username password so that a real-time data is constantly fed in your reports.
So when after making all the changes, when the data will be imported on the Power BI,
it will look like a table to you. Just like a
that's
table.
what I am trying to ask, that all the data sources from where we are importing, finally when they will become over Power BI, they will look like a table.
Yeah, they all look like a table.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So what we are trying to do is we are going to work on a CSV file. So how do you load a file? First watch me, then I'll tell you, then I'll ask you to upload one by one. So we are going to go to the text of the CSV file, then we click on connect. Once we've got that, don't do it with me. I can still hear some clicks somewhere. And then we are going to go ahead and select the data. I'm going to pick the customer data. So as soon as I connect to a data, the first and foremost thing is going to give me a preview. So this is a preview. It is telling me the delimiter is a comma since it's a CSV file. It gives me a preview of 200 rows. Basically, preview is just to see that, okay, yes, this was the data, this was the header, these kind of values I can see. And then I am going to click on load. So once you click on load, automatically you will see, let it load. It has shown that about 18,000 rows of data has been uploaded. And in this first screen, you have three main panels. One is field, one is visualization, one is filters. In the field, now I can see there is a table called AdventureWorks Customer. If I click on the drop down, I'm able to see all the fields or all the columns for it. Okay, can we try and upload the customer table over here?
Done, Ishani.
Done for all of them?
Yeah, done.
Okay.
Done, Ishani.
All right. Eklavya, are you there?
Yeah, Ishani, I'm here.
All right. Can you ask Chanchal to give access to Radhakrishnan?
Yeah. Let me ask.
Yes, thank you. It's Power BI for MI's team.
Okay.
All right. Now, once you have uploaded the data, some of you, rightly pointed out there's a problem with the date. And similarly, there may be a problem with the other data also. And when I asked you what you typically do, what should be the first step, a lot of you also told me that it asks you to clean the data, you have to prep the data, correct? So where does all this cleaning and prepping of data in Power BI happens? it happens in something called a Power Query, which is also a component of Excel. So how do you go into that component where you can clean the data, you can prep the data? In the Home tab, you will see this particular icon. This is for Power Query Editor. Now, when you click on it, it will open one more window. So this is one window in which we do the reporting part, and there is another window which is for transformation of the data. When we say transformation of the data, we are focusing on editing the values. We can replace value, you can fill the empty cells, you can remove the rows, you can remove the columns from it, you can create new columns, you can change the data types, and so on and so forth. So once I click over here, I'll end up in Power Query, which looks like this. Okay, all of you can click on that symbol and reach Power Query now.
Sorry, Shani, where did you click?
So in the Power BI home and this symbol over here.
It's showing transformed data.
Transformed.
Transform. So it'll end up over here in an untitled Power Query editor.
Done, Ishani.
Done. So what is the main role of query editor? I know I'm listening to few saying done, but not all. Prasad, are we done?
Yeah, hold on.
Yes. Sandeep.
Done,
Shireen, Faisal,
Done. Yes, I'm
Done,
done.
Ishani.
Neil, Shikhar, Shubham.
Ishani, before you start, I see in the heading it says ABC prefix, ABC first name. What is that?
Where are you seeing?
In the heading, top row, the very first one.
The ABC prefix, ABC.
Data types.
I'm going to explain that. This I'm going to explain. It's ABC's text data type.
Okay.
It's all good, right? Tarun, Tanu, Yash.
Yes.
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 All right.
Yes, sir.
So this is a Power Query. Now, query editor. Now in query editor, there are three main parts where you can concentrate on, the three main components of a Power Query. Number one is the left side where you will see all the queries. Like you had a lot of functionality of SQL you're going to find in this query editor. A lot of functionality of Excel you will find in this query editor. That's the reason Power BI is done after Excel and SQL classes. In the middle, you will see the table on which you're working. I have just got one table, but one Power BI file can be connected to multiple tables. That's where your database, relation database management concepts kick in. And on the right side, we have something called applied steps and the property of the table. So this is how the left side looks like, all the queries. This is how the middle will look like, where there is a table, where like you were talking about what is this ABC 1, 2, 3, those will come. And on the extreme right side, you will get something like a property and an applied step. Now, exactly same thing you are looking over here. This is my query part. These are my tables. This is the property and these are the applied steps. Right? Now, first thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this name so that when you are trying to work in your relationships or anywhere, sometimes these names become too big to look at. So I'm just going to convert it to AW customers. And remember what we did? We identified some as a fact table and a data table. So I'm just going to start writing fact and data, just because once we're done with the transformation, the next step is relationship. So that gives us a good idea which are the fact tables and which are the data tables. And then what I think Imran and Gunjan were talking about, the star schema and the snowflake schema, we'll talk about that. So everyone can do this activity with me. AW underscore customers underscore fact and change the name of the table.
So fact tables are those tables which has primary keys, right?
Fact tables are ones which have primary keys, correct?
Okay.
Okay. And on your right hand side, you have something called applied steps. You guys did VBA under me. What was the purpose of VBA or macros that you recorded?
To automate the repetitive task.
To automate the repetitive tasks. So when you were working in Excel, Excel went on creating a set of codes for you. So just like your Excel macros, we have something called M codes in Power BI, which is a backend language for Power BI. And this is place where you can see all the M code. So we really don't need to get into the detail of how to write an M code or how to even read an M code, because just like how you had a macro recording where you really didn't know how to read a code, but you knew how to use it. For every step that you take in a Power Query, it creates a code for you, and it is called applied step. So what is the purpose of applied step? Next time, let's say the data refreshes. So the new data that got added also has to go through the similar changes what you applied on this data currently. So instead of you doing it manually, it runs through the applied steps and gets done. So this is, think about it as a macro of Power BI.
So Ishani, even the cleaning part also?
Everything that you will touch, just like how in macro, whatever you did, a code got generated over here. Simple example, I'm going to convert it into a text. Change data, change target one account came here. So every step that you take gets recorded over here. And these are the same set of steps that new data will go through.
What did we do when it says promoted headers?
So what happens, you can delete the steps and see. So step number 1, what happened was it connected to the source. That is the step number 1, right? And in the source also, it is going to be connected based on paths. Paths are important over here. So if you cut this file and put it in some other paths, in the source, the first step itself will give you an error because the path has changed. So the first step was it connected to a source, right? Second step, if you look at the columns, are there proper names? Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. Are these the name of a table?
No.
So what it did, it promoted your first row to the column level. And how do we do that? We can easily do it by going in the home tab, use first row as headers. So if you click on it, it did a promotion. And that's what the promoted headers are for. Okay, and then since the data came, now what it did, it assigned data types to all the columns. So it said, okay, customer key looks like a number, so 1, 2, 3. Prefix looks like a text, so ABC. Date is still ABC, so we'll figure out how to change that. And then you have children, which is number, and occupation and everything is a text. So far, so good.
Okay, this change type is done itself, right?
Change is done over here itself, but not all the time what Power BI did is what we want. We might different things. Okay, a very simple example. I know Eclair is going to ping me at any point now. Customer key is a number. Should it be a number data type?
No, it should be text.
It should be text, and why?
Because we don't need to perform any calculation on that.
Absolutely correct.
It's a primary key. Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Anything which is a primary key, it is not supposed to have any kind of aggregation, summarization on top of it. So we know it, but we want to make sure everybody is not able to perform such activities on it. That's why first thing we did was convert this into a text. How did I convert it into a text? You can right click. There is a change type, and I moved it to a text data type. And we said, I added a new step because every time if anything changes, I would want this step to be applied over here. Okay, and I know I had, yes.
What's the other option? Replace something I read.
So replace, there are a lot of options. We'll go through all of them. Replacing would be, let's say if I wanted to replace all the zeros with a hyphen.
Oh,
that would be a replace value. Find and replace.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. All right. Now, before we end, now whatever work we do in each session has to be saved, because like I said, this is going to be from the beginning till an end, one single case study you guys are working on. every day's work matter to us. So if you don't save your files properly, you will lose your work. And again, in the next class, when we meet, next session, when we meet, you will have to redo it, which is not going to be possible. So how do you save your files? How do you save your files? First of all, how you get out of here? You see over here, choose and apply underneath file.
Okay.
So we are going to click on choose and apply. What this basically does, whatever changes you might have made over here, those get applied in the visualization in this particular report now. And then you will click on file and do a save as, and then save it. So I typically tend to make folder as per the companies, and in company also I'm going to name it as AdventureWorks session 1, and today's date 23 Feb 2022, and save. So this is how you save your Power BI files. So every day, please remember, we are going to use a previous session file to build on the new file. So
Ishani, could you please repeat the process of saving?
Yes. So just like a normal Excel file, do a save as. Okay. In save as, wherever you want to put, just give a name and save. That's it.
So
And
we need to go on the main Power BI page. Not changes will be amended. You click somewhere.
So when you are in the query editor, right, then you need to click on close and apply.
Okay.
Okay. Once that is closed and applied, then you save this file.
Okay.
Okay, Shani, I wanted to ask, just a moment. Yeah, when you change the name. Yeah, name, AV customer fact.
Yeah.
So that won't come in applied steps?
No, properties don't come in applied steps. No.
Okay.
It's like a cosmetic change. I should not say that. It's just the property we are changing. We are not doing any process on it. So that's why it's not coming as a part of it.
Okay.
All right. So that's it. Tomorrow we'll continue. We will stay in this transformation part for about 2 to 3 days at least.
So Ishani, is it important to log in, kind of sign in, or?
No, not at all. I'll tell you where to sign in because you can save these files. So there's no need of signing in. Just make sure you have these files available properly.
Sure.
All good? Eklavya, I know I'm 4 minutes up. You had told me 3 o'clock hard deadline.
Ishani, 1 minute. I'm not able to save it.
Can you share your screen once?
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay, give a name. File. Save as. Okay. Give a name. File name. Training do not open. It looks like you're advising yourself not to revise.
No, my sister often open my laptop, so that's why.
All right. AW session 1, however you want to know, name it. Just name the.
Can we insert a date?
Yes, but you can't use dots and dots you can, but you can't use it. Hyphens and dots you can use. Yes, date. That's it.
No.
So these Power BI files cannot be uploaded in my LMS directly. So I can do one thing. I can share it on Google Drive and give you the drive link. But I think for now, I don't need it. Once we have hit the ER diagram part, then the first time I'll upload it. But other than that, I think if you follow the video, all things will be the same. Okay? All right. All over to you, Eklavya.
Thank you, Shani. Shani, we were not able to add Radhakishan because we are not able to see him logged in, I guess.